Carlito. Six Flags nostalgia. Ultra Twister. Now, Ultra Twister was not my favorite. It's kind of, for me, it was kind of lackluster. I like coasters that have some speed, and some direction changes and loops and corkscrews, and I like that kind of stuff. I do like it. But Ultra Twister came to park in '89. Was assembled in a park for '89. It came from a different park under a different name and everything. But it came to Astroworld in '89 for the 1990 season, and it remained in, for all the way to park closing '05. But it was a rather simple ride. Wasn't long at all. I think total from climbing, click to its end was like a minute 40, under 2 minutes long. But you sat in this little car, a little train car, and it click. You get to the top, and the top kind of crests, and you go pretty much straight down, and then has a little level off as you pick up your terminal velocity, and then you're encased in the ride. You're not on a track. You're encased inside the track, like a pipeline. And as you go forward, you hit a loop, and it rotates you 180 degrees. And my brain, I'm trying to remember now, cause I'm of course, like all these videos, I'm inserting a POV of the ride in the video. Because again, it wasn't my favorite, so I didn't dwell on that ride a lot. I really didn't, because it wasn't, to me, it wasn't thrilling enough, But you'd go through it, do a little 180-degree turn or rotation, stop. The track would then would tilt down, let you go, and you slide backwards. And my brain's trying to say, going through it backwards, you went through 2 turns, rotations before it stops. Then you get off. But I think it was a Japanese ride. It came, I think it was designed and built from Japan. It was another Six Flags, and it was removed, brought to Astroworld. Yeah, so something of that nature. A lot of the Astroworld rides, except for maybe, like Excalibur, I think that was originally built for the park. But a lot of the rides at Astroworld came from other Six Flags parks. They ran their little thing for a couple years with a certain theme, and when they came to Astroworld, they're often repainted, rethemed. Like Batman Escape was one of those, Viper was one of those. But yeah, Ultra Twister was, I rode it a couple times, but yeah, it's not one of those rides where, if no one's in line, I'm like, hey, keep going. It's kind of short, and just drop, rotate, stop, backward, rotate. Yeah, it just wasn't, it didn't get my, woo, going. If that makes any sense. But it was a fun ride. As far as I know, parks closing, it was dismantled and brought somewhere, wherever Six Flags has their surplus yards, and every park, especially larger parks, have places where they have rides kind of in surplus. Far as I know, this ride was thrown in surplus, and again, never assembled. And I think as of 2010, it was removed from surplus, so it might have been scrapped. Because some of these rides, if they're not used, and this is 2026, so a lot of parks, a lot of rides, the technology has just kind of put a lot of these older 1990s, 1980s rides into obsolescence. So unless you really retheme that ride good and change some dynamics, I've been to Disney World in Florida. The Hulk is a great example. Instead of having a click, you have you're launched from a electromagnetic rail. I mean, you're on that car, on this train. I think the Hulk, my brain's trying to say it's like the Batman. You're standing on it. Standing upright, and you're on a like a 45-degree incline, like most roller coasters are. And then you're launched out of this tunnel using electromagnetic rails. So you're just launched. You're not no click 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 click. You're launched out of up until the top of the roller coaster. So yeah, technology has really changed. So rides like Ultra Twister and the Viper. You know, the Viper is, you know, a couple videos back. Far as I know, it was dismantled, and my brain's trying to say I think it was put in a surplus yard, and it might have been scrapped by now too. Also, so a lot of these old rides from the '90s and, you know, late '80s. Excalibur is a good example. Built in like '78, and yeah, that coaster is, yeah, it's just kind of really dated, you know, by the 1990s and into 2000s, and it's been scrapped. So Ultra Twister, yeah, it's kind of a, yeah, wasn't a big ride, very small footprint. That's why it was kind of good for Astroworld, because it was like in that back corner. I guess you can call it the it was in between kind of in between Batman Escape and Texas Cyclone, kind of in that little corner. It was a narrow, kind of long ride, so it took a very small footprint up, and so that's why it kind of worked for Astroworld. So Ultra Twister wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't really, you know, it wasn't for me, but it was a fun ride, and you know, and it's kind of, yeah, it was a fun ride. How'd you key?